The Stranger Who Changed Her Nights is an interesting title. It makes you think about who this stranger's, what they did to change her life at night. The stranger who changed her nights could be a lot of things, like a person who helped her or someone who made things difficult for her. I am curious about the stranger who changed her nights and what happens in the story. Asterisk The Stranger Who Changed Her Nights seems like a book title. Asterisk It makes me wonder what The Stranger Who Changed Her Nights is about. 1. I want to know more about The Stranger Who Changed Her Nights. 2. The Stranger Who Changed Her Nights sounds like a read. The Stranger Who Changed Her Nights is something that I would like to learn more about. Elena had lived by herself for a long time. The silence had become something she was used to. It was like the silence was her friend. Elena liked having the silence around her because it was what she was accustomed to. Every sound in her house on the hill was something she knew well. The wind made a noise when it touched the old windows that had cracks in them. The wooden floor made a creaking sound when she walked on it. The kettle made a whistle in the morning. She felt safe when she was alone. Solitude was something she could trust. The solitude never let her down. When the knock came at midnight, it was really loud. It broke the quiet. The quiet was what was shattered, not the silence, but the knock at midnight shattered the quiet of the night. The knock at midnight was very startling. It shattered the stillness of the night. The knock at midnight shattered more than just the silence. It was not loud. The sound was not desperate. It was just controlled. There were 3 knocks on the door. These knocks were spaced carefully. The person outside did this as if they feared that they would be told no. Elena just stopped moving all of a. Nobody ever made it this into the hills. The village below kept away from her. She was a woman, by herself, no family to speak of, no visitors ever coming to see her. People would talk about her behind her back. They always did that. The knock came again. I was sitting there. I heard the knock come again. It was loud and clear, the knock, at my door. The knock came again. I knew I had to get up and see who it was. Elena, a voice called out. It was really low. Sounded strained. Please, the voice said. I need a place to stay, I need shelter. Her heart was beating fast. She grabbed the lantern. Held it tightly like it was something to protect her. When she looked out the window, she saw a tall figure standing there swaying a bit. This person had snow on their shoulders. Their head was bent down like the dark night was pushing down on the figure. The lantern, in her hand, made her feel a little safer as she looked at the figure standing in the snow. He told her that he would not hurt her. He said this in a voice like he could really hear that she was scared. He said, I promise you this, to make her feel better. The door was opened by her. Just a little bit. She did not open the door all the way, it was only open a crack. The man was bleeding a lot. He had a cut and the blood was coming out really fast. The man's bleeding was very bad. He did not move dramatically, there were no gestures and no begging, but the dark stain that was spreading across his coat said a lot. The man had a face with sharp features and he was handsome, but in a way that felt like he could be trouble. When his eyes caught the light from the lantern, they looked like a silver-grey color, and that made her stop breathing for a moment. The color of his eyes really caught her attention, the stain on his coat and his handsome face. With sharp features, all of these things were very noticeable, especially his eyes. They were a very unusual silver-grey color. The man told us that he was attacked on the road. He said that he lost his way. He was really scared when this happened to him on the road. The road was very bad. He lost his way. The door should have been closed by her. She really needed to close the door. The door was still open because she did not close it. She should have closed the door when she came in. Every instinct of hers screamed at her to do something. Her instincts were really screaming at her to take action. Every instinct inside of her was screaming at her. She stepped aside instead. Come in, she said softly. Before you collapse from exhaustion, you really need to sit down and rest for a bit, because walking here, like that, is going to make you fall down, and I do not want the stress of having to pick you up off the floor, so come in and take a seat and let us get you something to drink, because you look like you are about to collapse. He walked into the room. Everything was different. The night was not the same anymore. He crossed the threshold and the night changed. Inside, the warmth came back to his body slowly as she cleaned his wounds. She had hands. He looked at her. Did not say a word. He did not complain at all. It was weird how calm the man was. It seemed like pain did not bother him much. The man was really calm. That was what was unsettling about the whole situation, with the man and his wounds. He asked if the person lived in the house by themselves. He wanted to know if the person had any family or roommates living with them in the house. The person lived in the house. He was wondering if the person had anyone to talk to or share things with. He was really asking if the person lived alone in the house. Yes. Why? She stopped talking for a moment. That is because people can be really mean when they do not understand the person they are dealing with. Something flickered in his eyes then. It was recognition. The man told me his name is Adrian. He waited for a bit before saying it. Then he said, "My name is Adrian." He added that people just call him Adrian. She nodded. Something inside of her felt like that was not the entire story. The truth was not completely out, in the open. She thought about this for a moment and she realized that she was still not getting the truth. As the hours went by, the storm outside got really bad. The snow kept falling. It covered the path, the road and everything, outside her house. The snow was so deep that it was hard to see anything. The storm made it impossible for them to leave. They were stuck inside together. The snow just kept coming down. It felt like the whole world was buried in it. They were trapped together in her house. Adrian really should have gone to sleep. He did not do that. He sat by the fire looking at her a lot. It was like he wanted to remember what she looked like forever, so he was watching her closely, watching the woman. Adrian was just sitting there staring at the woman by the fire. The man told him that he did not have to help him. He said this to the person who had just helped him. The person had gone out of their way to help him. He really appreciated it. He wanted the person to know that they did not have to do this for him. He was very thankful for the help that the person had given him. She looked at him. Their eyes met. "I know. I want to know why you did that thing. What made you do it? You did something. I do not understand why you did it. Why did you do that thing?" Elena said this with a lot of truth. She said, "I am telling you this because one time I really needed some help and nobody would even open their door to me." That night, as she lay awake listening to his breathing from the other room, she had no idea that the man in the other room was actually a king. She just thought of him as the man she had given shelter to. The man who was now sleeping peacefully in the room was a king, but she did not know that at the time. Something old had come into her life and it was going to stay there forever. That thing was not going to go from her life. Something ancient had stepped into her life. Something ancient would never truly leave her life. End of Part 2. Cliffhanger. The Kindness That Awakened a King is an amazing story. It is about how being kind to someone can change their life. The Kindness That Awakened a King shows us that even the smallest act of kindness can make a difference. When we think about the kindness that awakened a king, we think about how it can inspire us to be kind to others. The Kindness That Awakened a King is a reminder that we should always try to be kind because we never know what someone else might be going through. The Kindness That Awakened a King is a powerful story that can teach us a lot about the importance of kindness. It tells us that the kindness that awakened a king is not a story but a way of life. We should all try to live like the kindness that awakened a king by being kind to everyone we meet. By the day, Elena saw something that she thought was not possible at all. The thing that Elena noticed was really impossible. Elena could not believe what she was seeing. She kept looking at the impossible thing that she had noticed. Adrian's wounds were getting better fast. Adrian's body was fixing the damage quickly. The healing process of Adrian's wounds was moving along at a pace. Cuts that should have gotten really bad were actually getting better. The bruises on his body were gone in one night. His strength was coming back. It was happening in a really weird way. One minute he was very weak and the next minute he was standing up straight and tall like he had never been hurt at all. She told him off in a voice when she saw him chopping wood outside. "You should still be resting," she said to him. She did not want him to be doing things like that. The wood was something that needed to be split. She wanted him to take it easy. He was outside splitting the wood anyway. He smiled a bit. Old habits. She did not argue. A feeling of unease settled deep in her chest. The unease in her chest made her feel really bad. She felt the unease of the situation. It was very uncomfortable for her. The feeling of unease was about the situation. It was the unease that was bothering her. That night was really scary because danger came with the wind. The wind was. It brought danger with it. That night the danger that came with the wind was very frightening. Elena knew something was off before she actually heard it. The forest was really quiet all of a sudden. The animals were running away. Then she heard voices coming from down the hill. These were men. They had guns. Adrian said that they are looking for him. He said it in a way. His eyes were sharp and he looked like he was ready to pounce on something. Adrian looked like a predator. They are looking for Adrian. Her blood ran cold. She said, "Who are you?" This was a thing. For him, he actually stopped and thought about it for a moment. He hesitated. This person should never have put you in harm's way. They should never have brought danger to your door. Someone like that is the person you want to have around because they bring danger to your door. A gunshot shattered the silence. It was really loud. It broke the quiet that was all around. The gunshot made a noise that shattered the silence. The glass just exploded. Elena let out a scream as Adrian suddenly moved really fast, pulling her down to the floor. This all happened just as bullets started tearing through the walls. Adrian moved faster than any normal person could. He pulled Elena to the floor. That is when the bullets came through. Elena was really scared. Adrian was trying to protect her. The glass exploding was really loud. It made Elena scream. At that moment the disguise fell away. The disguise was gone. It was like the disguise just dropped off. The disguise that was hiding everything was no longer there. The man's eyes were like silver in the dark. They really stood out. His voice was different now. It was deeper and stronger. It sounded like it had been around for a long time. The man's voice was commanding. It was like the voice of someone who had been alive for centuries. The man's eyes burned with a light, in the darkness. The man told me to stay behind him. He said it like he was in charge or something. Stay behind him, that is what he said. She stood there, watched in total shock as he stood up to the people who were attacking him. The man did not seem scared of the attackers all. The attackers did not scare him. He was in control of the situation. He controlled the attackers. When one man tried to grab her, Adrian's fury was really scary. He was like a shadow, he was like something that you dream about. The man who was trying to hurt her did not stand a chance against Adrian. Adrian was very fast and very strong. The attacker was no match for Adrian. When everything was over, the bodies lay still. The forest became quiet again. It was silent like it was before the forest was silent. Elena looked at Adrian. She was really shaking. Adrian was the person she was looking at. She could not stop shaking because of him. Adrian. The woman asked in a quiet voice, "What are you?" she said to the thing in front of her. The man turned to the woman slowly as if he was afraid the woman might run away from him. He told me that he is an alpha vampire. He is the king of the Northern Covenant. The man said he is an alpha vampire and that makes him the king of the Northern Covenant. The woman should have screamed. She did not. She saw the truth in his eyes. It was not hunger, it was not cruelty, it was shame that she saw in his eyes. He told me that he never meant for me to be a part of this. Now the people who are after him, they will not stop going after me either. The people who are after him will just keep coming. The woman surprised them both by stepping to them. She really surprised them both when she stepped closer to the people. The woman surprised them both by taking a step to where they were standing. The woman told him that he protected her. He did not have to do that. The man could have run away from her instead. She remembered that he protected her. His voice became gentle. "You were nice to me when I was not a king. You showed me kindness when I wore no crown." That night, as the moon came up and old things started to change, Adrian realized something that really scared him. This is the time in a very long time that a woman has had control over his heart. The woman is a human. She has this power over him. It is a deal that a human woman has power over his heart for the first time in centuries. Elena figured out something that was just as bad. She was no longer afraid of the monster. End of Part 3 cliffhanger. The Queen Without a Crown. The vampire world did not show itself in a way. The vampire world was pretty rough when it came out. The vampire world just did not care about being gentle. The vampire world was what it was. That was it. When the sun started to rise, the forest came alive with people moving. These people were quiet. Appeared out of the fog. The moment they saw Adrian walk out of Elena's house, which was badly broken, they got down on their knees. It was really scary to see them do this. At the same time, it was clear that they had a lot of respect for Adrian. The forest was filled with these figures, and their presence was something that inspired both fear and reverence for Adrian. Adrian said in a voice, "You have to listen to what Adrian is saying right now." The woman stood beside the man wearing a coat that belonged to someone. Her eyes were wide with fear, but she kept them steady. She was looking at the man, and the woman was trying to be brave. The coat was wrapped around her tightly. The woman's eyes were wide. The woman kept them steady. The woman was standing beside the man. "He told me that they are my guard. They will keep me safe." Then he said that what happens after that is going to be really big. "It is going to change my life." She swallowed. "I think my life already changed the moment I opened my door." She took a breath and said that again. "My life already changed the moment I opened my door. It is like my life was one way. Then I opened my door and everything was different. I opened my door. That is when my life changed." They went on a trip before the sun came up. Some people took them through ways until they got to a really old castle made out of dark rock. This castle was older than any town or city. The fortress was even older than the feeling of being scared. This was his kingdom. Inside the court, Elena felt like every single person was staring at her. The vampire court was a scary place, and Elena felt like all the vampires were looking right through her. Elena was very nervous because she was surrounded by many vampires and she did not know what they wanted from her. The vampire court was full of vampires. Elena felt like they were all watching her every move. Whispers followed her footsteps. She could hear the whispers. They were really following her every step. The whispers were soft and quiet. They were definitely there following her footsteps. Human. Weak. Temporary. The Council of Elders got really upset when she walked in. They were a council of elders. They did not like what they saw. The Council of Elders were very angry with her. One of them said, "You are putting us in danger." "A person is aware of the things we do now," someone else said. "The woman has to be forgotten. We need to get rid of any memory of her. The woman must be erased from our lives." Adrian's voice was really loud. It sounded like thunder when he spoke in the chamber. The sound of Adrian's voice filled the chamber. It was like a clap of thunder that made everyone stop and listen to what Adrian had to say. "Anyone who lays a hand on her will have to answer to me." It got really quiet all of a sudden. Silence fell. The danger was still there. It had not gone away. The danger was still a threat. That night an old child, one of the Vampire King's heirs, got very sick with a bad blood disease that no vampire doctor could make better. Collapsed. People started to freak out. The king's family had been in charge for a very long time, but that did not mean anything when it came to this sickness. The king's heirs were supposed to be strong, but this blood disease was too much for them. Elena stepped forward. She took a step in front of the people. Elena was now standing in the front. This was a move for Elena. Elena was really putting herself there. "I am able to help you with that. The thing you need help with, I can do it for you. I can help." People started laughing loud. Laughter just erupted. It was so funny that laughter erupted everywhere. A human pretending to heal us. Desperation can really bring down people who think they are very important, like kings. It makes them realize they are not as powerful as they thought they were. Desperation has a way of doing that to people, to kings. She worked through the night. She was combining the remedies that her mother had taught her with the modern medical ways of thinking. These methods were not liked by humans. They were not liked by vampires either. The old remedies and the modern medical logic were what she needed to figure things out. She was using the things her mother taught her and the things she learned from books. Humans did not like these methods, and vampires did not like them either. The child was breathing easily by morning. The child felt better, was able to breathe easily. The court completely fell to its knees. The court was really shocked. The court fell to its knees. The old man said it like this: "She has the blood of balance in her." He said it quietly, and you could tell he thought it was really something special. The blood of balance is what he called it. The lost lineage is really something. This is the one that is supposed to walk between worlds. The lost lineage has a role to play. They have to walk between worlds. Adrian looked at Elena. It really hit him. He felt a shock when he realized something. Adrian was staring at Elena. This feeling of understanding was shaking Adrian. She was not just kind. The woman was selected. She was picked for something. The woman was the one they chose. Not because of power, but because of compassion. And the vampire world could never be the same again. End of Part 4 cliffhanger. Part 5. The woman who made the decision to stay. This is a story about she who chose to stay. She who chose to stay is a person with a lot of courage. She who chose to stay did something that not many people can do. She who chose to stay is the kind of person who will inspire you. You will want to know more about she who chose to stay. What made she who chose to stay make this choice? The story of she who chose to stay is very interesting. It is about she who chose to stay and the things that happened to her. You should learn more about she who chose to stay. The final threat did not come from the court, it came from the past. The past is what really had the threat. The bad guy who was after Adrian made one attack. He thought that Elena was the key to getting to Adrian. This bad guy believed that if he could get to Elena, then he could finally get to Adrian. The enemy was sure that Elena was Adrian's weakness. They were wrong. When things got really crazy, Elena stood up for what she believed in. She did not hide behind the king, she stood next to the king. She said to the attackers, "You do not have to do this." The attackers should leave, she told them. She wanted the attackers to choose mercy. The attackers should just leave the attackers' victims alone, she said to the attackers. People laughed. Adrian did not do that. He stopped the threat fast, but he did not hurt the people who gave up. He did this because he respected her idea that justice is better than being cruel to people. He wanted to show that justice is more important than being mean to the people who surrendered. The vampire world saw their king do something that had never been done before. He made a surprising decision. The vampire world was paying attention to what the vampire king was going to do. The vampire king was about to make a choice that the vampire world would never forget. Mercy for love. After everything that happened, the council made a decision. They decided what to do. The council made their decree. That was that. The council's decree was final. Elena is really going to take the crown. The crown is what Elena is after. She will probably get it. Elena wants the crown badly, and it seems like Elena is going to take the crown. She looked at Adrian. She saw the power that he had, the throne that he sat on, the eternity that he would have. Adrian was a man with a lot of power. Adrian had a throne that made him very important. Adrian would live forever in eternity. And shook her head. She said that she does not want to be in charge. She wants to live her life. She wants to get better and feel happy again. She wants to be able to make her choices about the things that happen in her life, like what she wants to do with her time and the people she wants to be around. She wants to be free to make these decisions without anyone else telling her what to do. The people in the court were really surprised. They all gasped. Adrian stepped forward. Then he knelt down right in front of her. He said this to me in a voice: "Do not be my queen just because of the title. Be my equal by choice." Tears filled her eyes as she took the man's hand. The woman was really sad. Tears started to fill her eyes. She felt so bad that she took the man's hand and held it tight. The man's hand was warm. It made her feel a little better. Tears were still filling her eyes as she looked at the man. The woman did not become the queen. She was not the queen that people thought she would be. The vampire queen was someone entirely not her. She became something that's really rare. This woman is really admired by monsters. That is because she never turned into one of them. Monsters actually look up to her for that reason. The woman is able to stay as a person, and that is something that the monsters respect about her. They work together to create a place where people and vampires could go to get better without being scared. This place was special because it was about helping each other, not about being in charge of each other. Humans and vampires could both find healing there. The world learned an important lesson that the world would never forget. Kindness is a powerful thing. It can even make a difference to something that is supposed to last forever, like immortality. Kindness can really tame immortality. When we have respect, it makes us stronger than when we're afraid. Respect is a powerful thing. It creates power that's even greater than the power of fear. Respect is what truly makes us powerful, not fear. And love chosen freely is stronger than destiny.